We are jumping straight into the health check with Dr. B and myself. And as I said, we are covering heart disease. So you better listen because this looks like something that is definitely taking over. We've seen young children and elderly people suffering from heart diseases a lot from 2022 until this year. So let's hear what Dr. B has for us. Morning, doctor.
Good morning. How's you?
I am perfect. I am feeling good. How are you?
Yeah, well, perfect is perfect. Sounds good. I wonder if anybody else is feeling perfect out there.
Because they were listening to me today, I'm sure they feel good. Yeah, doctor.
Do you know the word mellifluous?
No, actually, wow. For somebody like me who loves the dictionary, what does that mean?
Mellifluous means the voice sounds amazing.
Ah, thank you, doctor. Thank you so much. So, yeah, I did let everyone know that we are talking about heart disease today. We can take it away.
We do. We're going through that list that everybody says, why are we talking about these conditions and to death, if you like, excuse the pun. And the reason we're talking about these diseases is because they are really the commonest causes of morbidity, mortality, which basically means getting sick and dying worldwide. And then, there's this misconception that we're missing out things like, insect bites and bilharzia. Well, we're tackling the commonest causes, and we talked about the global burden of disease last week. In other words, indicating what the World Health Organization has listed as the top 5 killers worldwide. And today we're discussing the top, and that is heart disease or cardiovascular disease. And this really is, like you say, it's taking the globe, and Botswana's no exception, is literally taking the globe by storm. And the primary reason, is again, it comes down to lifestyle, is that, we said this last week, and I say it again, if you look at photos of people in the 1960s, 1970s, you hardly saw an overweight or obese person. But today, you see them all around you. You don't
everywhere.
Even everywhere. And you wonder what's changed. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know. The only thing that's changed is the environment in which those genes operate. Our genes can't have changed in 30 years. And, well, they haven't changed in hundreds of thousands of years. So what has changed? And what has changed is what we're doing to our bodies in our environment. And the same thing applies to heart disease. And the reason why it really is the most common cause of death worldwide is it is silent. People have this misconception that you get a chest pain, or you get dizzy, or you get a heart that's racing. These things do occur, but they occur right at the end. And the only way to check that your heart is in good order is to go and have it checked. Get the doctor to feel your pulse, or a nurse or a clinic. It's not expensive. Get your blood pressure checked, and of course, the things you do at home can also indicate whether you're at risk of heart disease. And those are the lifestyle issues that we keep talking about. Are you exercising? Are you eating the right food? Are you making sure that you do a little bit of fasting? Are you cutting out your calories, the empty calories, the beer, the wine, the alcohol, the sugar, the sweets, chocolates, the biscuits? All this stuff is actually empty calories. They've got no nutrition. And unfortunately, our food industry, which is a very powerful industry, has billions of pula to spend to try to convince you to eat those things. And that's really the bottom line, is we are facing an uphill battle in trying to change the environment back to what it was, even with your parents and my parents or grandparents' day, where they didn't have access to, these corncoals and Lay's chips and Coca-Cola and Sprite, and all this stuff is really poisoning our bellies. And this is what's happened. And what happens is, you eat that food, you put on weight. You put on weight, you develop blood pressure. Blood pressure doesn't cause any symptoms, and the commonest cause amongst the heart diseases that kills people is blood pressure. And the reason why it kills people is people don't take it seriously, and the reason why they don't take it seriously is it doesn't cause any symptoms. You really literally got to go to a nurse or a clinic or even a pharmacy and check your blood pressure. It doesn't cause any symptoms, and that's the main issue. And even when you tell the patient, BP ko dimu, they'll say, but I don't feel anything. And when you give them treatment, they'll say, Naka, I don't feel any different. And that's the reason why people come off their pills, because they say, I don't feel any different. In fact, I feel worse, and these pills are causing, headaches and dizziness and erection problems. I'm not going to take this stuff. And lo and behold, they come to hospital with a stroke or with a heart attack or with kidney failure, because that blood pressure, it pounds the system, it pounds the body, it pounds the brain, it gives you dementia, it gives you a stroke, which we talk about next week, it gives you a heart attack where you get blockages in the heart.
Wow.
And so all these things happen, and we're seeing them literally on a daily basis. We are admitting, and as you said it, we are admitting younger and younger people with growing blood pressure. And of course, the younger you are, the more immortal you think you are. And I mean, you and I can remember the days when we were in our teenage years. You think, this is an old man's problem or old woman's problem. So they don't take it seriously. And we are seeing people, and they don't believe it when we tell them, your blood pressure is really high. Stop the coke and stop the caffeine and stop the fat burners and the energy drinks. They're causing problems, and they don't do that because they think, this can't be real, and this is the problem we're facing. And so we're seeing people with heart failure and heart attack and end-stage kidney failure, putting them on dialysis machines to clean their system. And this is the reason why it's a problem. And it's estimated, just for your information, that we have today on our planet 8 billion people. It's estimated that 2.5 billion people of that 8 million have high blood pressure.
Wow.
So that's massive, and that is simply because people aren't getting it checked, aren't getting it managed. And of course, blood pressure in the old days or olden days, we used to say blood pressure rises with age. It's okay to have a slight rise in your blood pressure. We now believe that the golden number is 120 by 80. 120 is the strength at which your heart pumps, and 80 is when it's relaxed. There's still a degree of tension. Anything more than that, for example, if your blood pressure is 140 by 90, you lose 10 years of your life too. And that's not immediately, it's slowly. And so this thing erodes your system on a slow basis. By the time people come to see us, unfortunately, their heart is enlarged, their kidneys have been drummed down and not functioning well. They're forgetful. They've had many strokes when you do a scan of the brain. So these are major issues. And it starts very much upstream, Zoo, and that's what this program is about. So upstream means cutting the salt, exercising, making sure you have an ideal weight, getting enough good sleep, trying to manage your stress better, cutting out your processed carbohydrates. And unfortunately, this is going to be like a broken record. It's going to be something we're going to talk about every single week, because literally people are poisoning themselves.
Yeah.
Sitting is the new cancer, if you like. Sitting is the new smoking. It literally is that, Zoo. And we really need to wake up and smell the coffee, because to me, people are walking around with their eyes wide shut.
Taking time bombs, Dr. B.
Absolutely, you look at our schools and you look at the tuck shops that these children run to get their stuff. I mean, it's fresh and it's fizzy drinks and it's those terribly colored sweets and those things. I don't know what you call it. I always forget what you call them. Those little corn curl red things,
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, it's so toxic. And honestly, the food industry is not going to let go, because the bottom line for them is not your health, it's the pula.
Definitely.
And they make bucks when you go and buy that stuff. So just be careful what you put in your shopping basket. Be careful what you allow your kids to eat and drink, and make sure that you are an example. Don't tell them what to do. Do as you would like to do for your children. So that's the really important thing.
That's awesome, Dr. B. Well, we've run out of time. And I can definitely attest to that whole tuck shop thing, because when I was teaching for those 9 years, I think I gained so much weight because, like you're saying, there's food there, like literally where there's fried foods, there's tampa, there's pap, and they fill the plate up for you. And this is what children eat. So I definitely agree with you 110%.
Absolutely. So next we're going to be talking about the third commonest cause of death worldwide, and that is stroke. What is stroke? Why does it occur? Who gets it? What type of stroke? How do you know you got a stroke, and how to prevent it? So that's next week.
All right, Dr. B. Thank you so much. I'm sure we will be so tuned in.
Cool.
Bye.
Remember the word mellifluous.
Yes, mellifluous. Thank you. Dr. B says I have a mellifluous voice, which means that my voice is beautiful, it's outstanding, and it's amazing.